let's talk a little bit about the importance of consistency in ideological frameworks and how they could possibly relate to socialism, government, and freedom, and as well as other things. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button to help grow the channel. Hopefully you like what you see, you like what you hear. Let me know what you think down below, good, bad, or ugly, in the comments section and all that. So the reason I'm making this video, because I think it's rather important that consistency, or ideological consistency, in whatever political framework that anyone's building, it has to have that level of consistency to have reliability of analysis and to build upon that in a way that's not going to have the ideology framework collapse in on itself because of some gross, glaring inconsistent components of it. I mean, I understand I don't think there actually is a totally 100% consistent ideological framework. But the thing is, you can have these frameworks that are totally like this, just glaringly like just unbalanced, so to speak. And for example, like people who identify themselves as anarcho capitalists, they go by the main idea that they don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to tell other people what to do because that violates freedom, that violates individual, liberty. But at the same time, they say, well, in order for my Ancap system to work, you have to agree that private property should be a thing and that you have to respect it. I'm like, that's telling people what to do. Then they try to make it look like, oh, that's just the way it is. That's just nature. That's just the laws of nature. You just got to. Like it's the laws of physics, and that's not the case. That's really, really shaky ground. I mean, if you want to say liberty is absolutely important, but you want me to do what you want to do, respecting private property rights, and I am maybe someone who doesn't believe in property rights, maybe I do, maybe I don't. You don't know. Either way, I have to respect that. And if I go onto your land and say, hey, I know I'm on your land and I ain't gonna hurt you, but I'm just gonna stand here. So the person who owns that property could be like, okay, either they'll let them stand there or they say, you gotta go. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna hit them or anything. But they say, okay, well, I got to forcibly remove you. So it seems to me that force is still a thing. Of course, they'll say it's justified. All of a sudden it's justified based on the belief that a particular plot of land is theirs because they say so, even if they marked it off or not, because they say so. I mean, it's really fucking weird shit, and I come across it quite often when I talk to people who are on the, well, especially the hardcore, like far economic right-wing anarcho capitalists, and I bring it up to them and they have some mealy-mouthed responses to that, and I'm like, I tell them, hey, my framework may not be 100% totally consistent with every little thing, but at least it attempts to make meaningful compromises, like making sure that at least everybody has a little something of what they want out of this system that I'm, preferring, right? Yeah, we can do private property rights, we can do core system, military, police, reform the police. Community policing is a good thing. So yeah, so just things like that, and also have things like universal healthcare, universal basic income, hopefully on top of social programs, things like workplace democracy for larger businesses, things like that. It's a compromise. I mean, I'm gonna say my system has some compromises in order to make it work better, to maximize personal freedoms and liberty overall. But to me, systems like anarcho-capitalist systems or far right-wing economic libertarian systems tend to effectively reduce overall freedoms. I mean, they'll say like certain rights are one thing, like property rights, individual rights, but that's it, out of nowhere. It's really arbitrary. And then all of a sudden they say rights beyond that are just unnatural or some shit like that. It's just really goofy to me. They want to have the balls to tell us that, like, we're the ones wanting to do violence, but like, you guys want to do it like a different way. Then of course they got some mealy mouth response to that. It's like, if you can't properly explain what you're trying to get at, I can. I mean, it's simple. It is have a democratic system in place, electoral system in place to make sure people don't get railroaded by people who just happen to have more money than they do. Make sure your rights are protected. I mean, the state, sad to say, is the closest thing that can possibly pretty much guarantee people's rights being protected. You know, you have that remedy if your rights get violated. You have a remedy, consistent, reliable remedy, or at least much more so than you would under an Ancap system, which would be what, private cops and private courts enforcing the law. What if I don't agree with them? They're forcing me. Oh, but that's different because, you know, it's ideology. Oh, so that kind of force, that kind of violence is okay. You know, I have to agree with your Ancap system, your system first in order for it to work. You know, to be consistent. I'm like, if we're going to do that, then why stop at fucking property rights? Like, what's the point? Doing just enough what you Ancaps want? Or what the Ancaps want? Sorry. I don't know if you're watching this, you're Ancap or not. Sorry. Make the implication. So it's just really good for me. I think it really is important. I don't think it's necessarily end all be all, but to strive for being consistent with your ideology. If you're all building a framework, is really important to me, because you build your house on shifting sand, what's going to happen? It's going to shift, crack, fall down, and crumble to shit. Going to have nothing, because we want society and economies and whatnot to be built on solid, strong foundations that are reliable. That's what people expect. That's what people want. That's what people hope for. You know, so they know they can rely on the system not to turn to shit when things get, you know, less than convenient. And to me, when I talk to these folks on the far economic right, I'm like, what? You guys trying to talk shit to us? As socialists, at least we understand, like, this shit's imperfect. We're willing to make, you know, allowances and compromises. Like, those motherfuckers aren't. Just believe in my Ancap system. Don't do anything more than that, because it's immoral. And I don't want to tell you what to do, but you better stay off my fucking land that I say is mine. Really goofy shit. Anywho, let me know what you think down below. Good, bad, or ugly, and I will see y'all around next time.